Employees of the Duluth Federal Prison Camp have been waiting in limbo to find out what will happen to their jobs since the deactivation of the prison was announced in December. Well, today, Northern News Now's Sophia Lauber heard from those doing what they can to reverse the decision.
There have been very few updates since the announcement that the prison would be deactivated in roughly 9 months.
The prison seems like they're trying to figure out what's going on.
Daniel Fanning with the Duluth Chamber of Commerce says the new executive director at the Bureau of Prisons and the new Trump administration is giving those fighting for the prison some hope. Fanning says the economic impact of losing the prison would be substantial.
It's 90 workers, but it's also 500 to 700 inmates, and that matters in the sense that the inmates have been involved with our community. They've been volunteering in our community. They go to local hospitals.
Republican Congressman Stauber visited the prison on Thursday to learn about programming and share what he's doing.
We're working to reverse that very, very hard. It's a good facility with good workers. It helps our economy, and again, the programming provided to the inmates is second to none. And
Stauber says inmates were supposed to be removed by January 24th, but transfers have been paused, leaving 500 inmates still there. To highlight the bipartisan effort, Democratic U.S. Senators Tina Smith and Amy Klobuchar have also expressed concerns about the deactivation.
You know, we're trying to get federal investment in our community, and we've had great success in that in recent years.
Fanning says parties on all sides want to keep that momentum up. He acknowledges aging infrastructure at the prison, but argues the prison is well placed in Duluth, given its resources as a regional hub.
And if they're going to invest somewhere, invest here. Build on the facilities that we have here.
In Duluth, Sophia Lauber, Northern News Now.
The Bureau of Prisons declined an interview, but said they're conducting an assessment of the facility to determine next steps for the deactivation.